Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Hospitality Marketing Live Show number 539. I am your host, Lauren Gray. Thank you so much for joining us live. If you're catching this on the rebound or the rebroadcast, Wednesdays, 11:30 a.m. Sydney, Australian time, or London time for our APAC and EU and Middle East friends, thank you so much for joining us then. Or anywhere in the other 209 countries that we broadcast every week at. Thank you so much for joining us live from a lot of them, and also on the replays. So there you have it. And of course, any simulcasting that you catch us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, they're all there. Not Twitter, sorry. Twitch. Twitter, no. X, no. Anyways, we're here. It is the throes of the holiday season, early December, where we're trying to either get everything done before the holiday or we're just saying, yeah, we'll wait until afterwards. It's kind of always a toss-up, really. They go either which way. You know, sometimes you're in a frantic flurry of trying to get everything done by the end of the year, and you're getting in that compressed time, plus of all the personal obligations and what have you. And then other times it's more of a free-flowing, like, yeah, you know what, most of this stuff can roll over to next year. All the in-year stuff are pretty much completed. Nothing's going to get pushed through in the next 2 weeks because of everybody's diversity, some good things going on, commitments and so forth. So let it ride until January. So it really is awesome. Right now, knock on wood, I haven't had the massive crunch yet, requirements from clients and so forth of needing last-minute things or compression of things. I say that now on the show and probably get off and be like, whoa, shouldn't have said anything. But with that in mind, we're in a time of year which is very predictable in a lot of ways. We know that the holidays are a prime focus of communication that we do. We have to incorporate that into our messaging. We have to make sure that if we don't have campaigns that have value at this time of year, that we're very present and cognizant of the holiday spirit by wishing everyone, and brand awareness kind of kicks in if you don't have any specific offers. If you're pushing for good holiday business because you're a place where that is valuable, and there's a few places that aren't. You know, holidays aren't the thing that drives them at that time. It's the places that people leave from to go to other places, and so there's no need to be kind of pushing that hard. But if you're in the mindset of having your holiday campaigns running, of course, they should have long ago been built, long ago have been planned, and long ago have been decided as to what the metrics of their success would be. So you should be in the middle of that right now. If you are those places that are looking for the optimization of their holiday time cycle, it is a bit convoluted. And I say that from a perspective of how it all started so early. We started in summer with the tariff threats and the tariff realities, so forth, for the United States and globally. It affected everybody, really. There was a kind of a precursor to the retail demand as to what was going on. Like, let's get our purchases in while the prices may be lower than they might be later this year. So it was a very early rush to it. And I myself was even confused when it came to Black Friday deals, in the reference of them in late September, strongly in October, as to, are these the good door-busty kind of historical one-day only opportunity deals, or are these just precursors to kind of gather as much business as possible and there'll still be a Black Friday super deal that comes in? And it was a mixed bag. There was a lot that, no, the deals that started in late September, October were the best deals all the way up through to Black Friday. And Black Friday was actually the end marker, and Cyber Monday, the end marker to the deal offers. But they were those good deals all the way through. And there were a few that had precursor deals that were good. And then the best deal was on the last day, on Black Friday kind of day. Why do I bring all this up? Because I feel that we get into these patterns of performance-based decision-making, which is very viable and very critical to what we do as hospitality marketers. We need to have the metrics, our KPIs, defined, measured, followed along to make sure that we're meeting those goals and the pace and the trend are going towards what we expected them to go to, so forth and so on. But a lot of what we do, I feel, is not as creative. It's more by rote. We know that this is the time of year that people's attention goes towards these things. There's the holiday travel, which we had, of course, the government shutdown in the United States, which created a whole paradox of problems. And then already with the possibility of job losses and or calling back in consumer uncertainties, and that's a global thing. So we're not just talking about the United States in general. These things created these uncertainties as to what we were expecting for this holiday season. So we got very myopic into looking at what we needed to do. Offers, awareness, presence, okay? Plus you throw into the whole generative AI search changes that are going on as to how do we identify ourselves, how well do we show up for what we are, how well do we get included into the chat discoveries, the GEOs. So because of all that, there was a lot of dispersion of what we were trying to do, but the dispersion of what we were trying to do was still fundamentally the same. That was planning campaigns based on offers, based on time of year, based on the theme of the offer, holiday based. But what I question is the creativity. So a very long entrance to a very specific topic. Creativity should not be a luxury of strategy. And what do I mean by the title is our strategic overview of how we approach our campaigns, fourth quarter being the height of what we're in the middle of right now, is very specific to the value proposition of what the holidays draw. We do know that there's a lot more personal focus. There is the retail component to it all. And we also know that there's a travel component to it. You know, Thanksgiving is the biggest that they've had numerically in the sense of travel. Historically, makes sense. Our population has grown. And that travel demand is one of the two major travel choices that most families or people make over an annual period of time. That's based on the amount of their salary and how much they can afford and what percentage of that is able to be used for their travel. A lot of debt leveraging right now. Debt's gone up a lot. And we're in the midst of all of that consideration for all of those things. The contrast between purchasing of retail versus travel, the ability to do both. The thing that's really come through recently and strongly is the fact that we're very much in a K-side economy, and K-side being the shape of the letter K, where those that have money are having no issue in spending whatever it is that they want to spend it on. They're not as worried. And are they happy with the increased costs of things? No. They can weather the increased costs better than, as you picture the shape of the letter, as you descend down the income scale. There's more of an impact of available funding for middle class. And the truth be told, middle class has zero tolerance capabilities. You know, there's no margin between their affordability of daily things, rent, food, insurance, gas, whatever have you, and the ability to spend money on things like retail presence or travel. And then there's those that are on the bottom of the economy that literally have no means of doing anything for themselves, in that sense that they have no tolerance of what they're capable of spending money on. It's purely based on survivability of food and shelter. So with that, we tend to just focus on the places that we know we can generate money from, and we focus on what things put us in front of those things, the rates that we're offering, the specials that are related to what we're offering, what have you. But I feel genuinely that our creativity as a industry has really blanched out. Blanched in the sense of water, washing away the color. There is no real good, genuine creativity. There's been some very good commercials for a variety of other businesses that are very emotionally tugged. This is the time of year that most commercials have an emotional lead to them, a sentiment lead. You know, family, tradition, friends. Being kind. These are thematic ways of the fourth quarter that usually get interwoven into most of the commercial structures that you see. Nostalgic. I think Nestle's chocolate, the Hershey Kisses acting like bells, is a good example of that. You know, bringing back the nostalgia, and they're making that their lead. Like, hey, this is our anniversary of this ad that was so iconically well known and loved for this time of year. So they're making it the feature of what they're doing. I look at other other branches of businesses that are doing things. And one that really struck me as being really fun creatively was one that if you're from the southeast of the United States, there is a grocery system called Publix. Very, one of the longer lasting ones, very ingrained into Southern, that's the region that they've been in. And they did a really neat creative ad campaign. Um, they focused on their strength compared to what their weaknesses are, and they created a value to a market that had been underserved. Now, is it a huge market? Well, no. Is it a unique market? Yes, and that's the value of what they did. So Publix, in contrast to all the other grocery systems that are in the South at this point, it tends to be one of the more expensive ones. Their prices they're not known for their discount prices. They are known for their quality of products, but then again, other grocery systems have that same product of quality, especially when it comes to brands that are represented on the aisles. They have the same brands. Their off-brand brand is a good quality, but then again, other grocery chains have that as an asset to them as well. So they're losing the differentiation between themselves and other ones. And the negative is that they're still seen as a pricier alternative to all the other ones that they're being compared to. But there is some nostalgic and also historical values to their brand that the other ones don't have. And that is their bakery. Their bakery is, their breads are some of the best to get in the area. Their baked goods are some of the best, and they also do custom baking. They have always had a history of going in and getting custom cakes and custom pastries and so forth, things that you could buy, the birthday cakes, the anniversary cakes, the things like that. They've always had that. All the other grocery stores never invested in that. And even if they did have some component of their bakery capability, it never measured up to the criteria of expectations and history of quality that the Publix grocery chain had. So they took that as an asset, saying, hey, look, this is a positive that nobody else can take from us. This is the thing that we are in contrast to everyone else. And of course, people can say, hey, look, when I need a birthday cake, sure, I go to Publix, but I'm not going to go grocery shopping every day. Well, but anyways, there's always that, just like us for our hotels. I love that hotel, but I'm not going to go every time I go to that town or that city. I'm going to go to that hotel because it's kind of a special place. I don't need to spend that kind of money. I really just need to be there for whatever reason there. So I'll find another place that's affordable. If it was as affordable as the other places I'm considering, sure, I'd love to be there because I love being there. But on this trip, I don't need it. We deal with the same issues. Okay. So don't think I'm just going off on this grocery chain discussion for a hospitality marketing conversation. It's to make an example of something. So what did they do? Well, if you're already in the South of the United States, you already know what they've done. It's a really cute commercial that, and they do great pull at the heartstrings commercials about this, family traditions and history and having Thanksgiving, and they do really cute ones. They've been very good about these historically. Their fourth quarter ad campaigns, to me, are some of the benchmarks of the fourth quarter when it comes to creative design of ads. Well, this one is featuring anybody that's had a birthday on Christmas or thereabouts Christmas, that they make this fun ad that is showing a child growing up resentful of Santa because it's Santa's day, not their day. Even though it's their birthday, it's always Santa. It's always Santa. It's always Christmas. They get tagged along with it. And anybody that has a birthday related or close to a holiday, you know the feeling of that. If it's around New Year's or around Christmas, that you always have to share your birthday with whatever the holiday is. So I'm sure we're going to see iterations of this in the future as they come up to the marketing window that they would be most useful for. I think that they hit on something really well, and they're going to continue this process. So what they did was this commercial shows this child growing up, always resentful of the fact that, I should be liking Christmas and everything I do, but it's always about Christmas, never about me. So they came up out of their bakery with a merry birthday cake. It's a Christmas birthday cake. Is it going to save the day for Publix? Is it going to turn it into it's not the point. It's not that silver bullet saves the day, multiple billions of dollars get made for it, whatever have you. It's the idea of putting front of mind the creativeness of Publix, where they came up with this idea of identifying a hitherto unidentified market, those that have birthdays on holidays, Christmas in this one being particular. But it's the way that they approached that creativity, the way they made it a fun narrative story in 30 seconds or longer, really. The way that they made it. So now, anybody that has a birthday in and around Christmas is getting one of these cakes if they're in the South, because of the uniqueness of it and the fun of it. So that, in the sense of sales, it accomplishes task completely. In the context of front of mind, it's doing what I'm doing. I'm talking about it because I thought it was a very creative way to address identity. Publix is Publix. People know what Publix is. There's no surprise to what Publix is. And consensus is you go there when you want to afford to be there. That everything is good. Service is good. The product is good. The locations are good. Everything's great about it. But you pay for that. When I need, because I got to squeeze, more affordable groceries, I don't go to Publix. Now, when I need baked goods, I love to go to Publix. Again, like more on the expensive side. But for that quality, I'm willing to pay for that when I can afford that. If I can't afford that, then it's a treat if I could. But they took all of that and said, look, but we do have this. We are this. And this is really good about us. And this is why we're going to highlight this about us. We have a great bakery. We've been known as having a great bakery. And for all the other things that you say about us, which are true, they know their prices better than anybody. This is something you can't take from us. And we're featuring it. That creativity, I defy you to find in hotels right now. I see it in insurance companies, the Geico commercials and so forth. Sometimes it's even hard to remember which insurance company it's related to, but you enjoy the commercials for being cute. Peyton Manning and the Nationwide thing, people turning into their parents. I don't remember what that one is. Progressive? No, that's not Progressive. That's Geico. Anyways, again, my point, creative can also lose the messaging by just overshining everything. That creative is all you remember. Super Bowl ads are very much about this. We watch Super Bowl ads for the creativity of the ads. Doritos was brilliant. Rather than just trying to do an ad that they would come up with, whatever way they would want to come up with it to feature chips, snacks, they opened it up as a contest where they're able to not only highlight people's passion for the product, okay, their advocacy, but also their creativity and their diversity of ads. They didn't have to hang their hat on a single ad that got repetitively changed and chopped up and reused and what have you. I think some of the most uncreative ads are auto ads. If they can use any more superlatives in a single 30-second soundbite, I don't know how they can. I think they're the masters of superlatives in a shortest period of time. There should be a Guinness record on superlatives in a short window of time, and the auto ads would be it. I get told that my entire existence of self-esteem is based on what vehicle I drive down the road with. Hard sell for some, it hits the mark, but for most of it, it's kind of like, not really. But that might just be an age of life thing. In our industry, we don't do well. Marriott Bonvoy, if you watch their in-room stories, they're trying to identify themselves as an experienced brand relationship because of the absolute saturation of the amount of hotels around the world that they are, in essence, close enough to everything that you would ever want to do that you should consider them for everything you want to go to. That's a valid point. I know when Bonvoy first came out, we made fun of the name, we made fun of the effort, which is all still justified. And I still hold to with what we've said on the show years ago when Robert Cole was contributing to it and Ed and Stuart and Tim were all on it. We played a game once where we showed a room that was a signature room, as in definably the brand says this is what is unique about our rooms. We showed a picture of the room to all of us on the show. And out of the 5 that Robert shared to us, we only guessed 1 right. That's a Spring Hill Suites. That's a Hilton Garden. That's a Marriott Full Flag. That's a Hyatt. The idea that they're trying to segment out what each brand flavor does for its constituent audience is hard, and they keep coming up with other brand variations. This is for the urban trendsetter, up-and-coming mobility person that wants to be seen and know that they're associated with this brand, that when they're at this hotel, they're this kind of person. It's almost like car dealerships. It's like, really? Okay, sure. I understand the symbology of branding and brand labels and names and so forth, the identity that's associated with the variances of them, the difference between having a Nike sneaker versus an Adidas sneaker versus having a certain type of watch versus another type of watch, right? And some people are more form function over fashion function. Devil Wears Prada is a great movie example of not knowing how all it works, but then understanding the value of it. The idea of it is that out of all this creativity, we're a little flat, I would say, and that's being optimistic when it comes to us as an industry. Very little is being done. And we're in an amazing time right now where we should be even more creative. The best creativity we see right now is in short scrolling video snippets, little things that AI animation creates for us that we flip through and so forth. That is our attention span awareness. Now, I'm not condemning it, although I am condemning it. It's a reality of what we're in right now. But we can be better at that even, and we're not. The first thing we do is throw up rates, or we have great rates, or it's such and such, you should come and stay with us. Why should I come and stay with you? What, tell me what I need. They don't. We don't. In our ads, we don't gather attention with our creativity. Our strategy is about awareness, and awareness is simply broadcasting, projection. We're there, we're there, we're there. And we're putting into that broadcasting the shortest message possible for cost savings in some ways of what it is that we need to make sure they understand. Rates and dates, association with the discovery of them. We're in the location you're looking for. We're a hotel that should be something you should choose from because of you looking at an area that we're associated and tethered to. For the places that try to amplify its amenities, like we have this gorgeous spa, we have these other, golfing or restaurants or whatever have you. We used to make fun of the fact that the girl with the stones on her back and on the massage table, she should have gotten a penny for every picture. She would have been a bajillionaire. How many times did you see that picture, right? It was the most uncreative reused image ever. It started good, but it got so abused it turned into its own meme. Golfing, same thing. Restaurants, happy waiter putting down a plate of food in front of somebody as if the whole world was centric on that. You would love it to be that way. In the old days, now it's more of a runner, whoever can they auction the food off when they get to your table, like who has the burger, who has this, whatever. The skill level of service, and those restaurants even existing, sit-down dining. There's a whole exposés that are happening right now about the loss of sit-down dining. We're turned into a world of it showing up on our doorstep. We don't go to places for the ambience and the experience of it. It's, for some reason, we just stay home. We're homebodies to this part. It costs us more, but that convenience is what we consider to be more valuable than going to a restaurant and being there. All things come in cycles and times. We'll see how that goes. But that's what the current issue of it is sustainability. There's more and more kitchens opening up now that have no seating at all. It's all about pickup and delivery. Catering kitchens, really. That's been a thing for quite a while, actually. Fewer restaurants are existing, and if they do exist, they exist with smaller seating capacities because the extra burden of cost on the restaurant at that point is staffing the seating capabilities. Either you automate it or do it as a countertop delivery service, or you don't. All I'm saying is, how do you make that fun? What creativity comes out of that? You're left with the simplistic food feature, location feature, price feature. You're not really being creative in your messaging. And I mean fun creative in the way that makes people pay attention to what you're saying without having to sell them what you're trying to sell them with the logistics of it. You're making them engaged with you. With the world of AI that we have now, the ability to be creative is almost paralyzing. I get this one app we talked about on the podcast. It's the Apper. It's a platform that allows for just a variety of all the cool stuff you see. The platform allows you to be connected to all the latest editions of AI that are creating all this kind of cool stuff, and it helps you build these things by showing you the prompt constructions necessary to do them, so you can create them for what you want in your own way for what it is you want them to do. Really neat stuff. And that's just one tool. There's dozens of tools out there, and there's dozens of platforms that do these things. And you sit and very intimidated. If anybody's just tried to start to create an image, they see how challenging it is to see some of these things created because they don't realize how challenging it is for character continuity, storyline segments that have to be cohesively put together, best definitions on the creativity so that it doesn't look so weirdly made. There's a lot of quality learnings that have to go on to make a quality creation. But what I'm saying out of this whole process is whether you have the skills to do it or you have a tool that helps you create these things, even thinking about using them in a way that creates a story. It doesn't seem to be present in our industry right now. We're not seeing good creativity. We're not even seeing the nostalgic, empathetic, heartstring tugging stories. I gave Marriott as an example, but that's a generic one all year long, where they talk about the experience of being on the Serengeti, the finding the small little Italian villa up in the hill that's by miraculously a Marriott, and yet you're the only one at the table. I haven't figured that one out yet. That's it. IHG, where are you? Hilton, where are you? Hyatt, where are you? I don't see it. I don't see those things. Right now, the holidays are ripping out of their holiday decorations that they've put in storage up until now to put their tree in the corner of the lobby, their Christmas fixtures around them. The higher end resorts, of course, go into the more advanced stuff, the big life-size gingerbread houses, perhaps, or some really neat decorations and so forth, so that they get into the festive spirit. I'm not talking about that kind of creativity. That's kind of standard holiday, roll it on out and plug it all in kind of stuff. And they do a wonderful job with that decoratively and so forth. Those are all good things. But I'm talking about the creativity in messaging, the creativity in communication. Where is that? Where is the ability for us to get a message across that catches people's eye, not because of it being some funkadoo AI. They know it's AI, or at least they're surprised that it's AI done well or whatever. But it's the messaging, the actual creative messaging. What are you getting as a message? How are you creating that message? I think of things we on the podcast a few weeks back. I was talking about music generation AI using Suno, where you can make songs and so forth, and augment. You create the lyrics, and you have the AI help you with your lyrics for the harmonics and so forth. And you create different stems of music type variations or instruments that you want to use, and overtones and so forth. And you literally create a custom song for yourself. Like I said, creative. It's almost like I said, tools like the Yapper that I was talking about. I'm sitting there and I'm like frozen on the keyboard. It's like I can use anybody, do anything, say anything, create anything, to the point of, oh my God, the paralysis of decision. That's why we had the topic about the paradox of choice a couple of weeks back. What show was that? That was it was last week. Duh, no wonder it was in my head. Paradox of choice we talked about last week, literally because of this app. If you just drive me, it's like, oh my God, there's everything I can do in the world. There's nothing I'm actually making. That creativity, but it isn't all in a bubble. It isn't just one person saying, I'm going to come up with all those crazy thoughts. It's a collaboration of people. The one thing about creativity, which is absolutely amazingly fun, is the atomacy of the idea gets translated into the reality of consensus. I may be adamant that I have a greatest thing since sliced bread creative idea, but I'm the only one that thinks that. But in a collaborative room of people that are trusting and open, that you can share these things without criticism and condemnation, it's not a shark tank. It's a think tank, creative concept. Then somebody nuances something different that allows them to join in the excitement of what they think it could be if you were to add what they thought should be added. And then another person sees that, but wonder if this is what we take it towards rather than what you were taking it towards before. And that process of creative discovery brings it to a point that at the end, everybody's laughing, smiling, backslapping, just excited for the fact that they can't get it out the door fast enough. How can we get this to market? And then the planning of the strategy, logistics. How do we roll it? How do we reuse it? How frequent? How often? To whom? What variants are there? How do we modify it to keep it fresh but not the same for the shorter segment requirements we have? You have now a world of opportunity to advertise. You have OTT. You can put anything you want in an OTT ad. You can convey your own message. That used to be for elite marketing capabilities, national campaigns. Now it's in your grasp to talk to only your market. You can put things in screens around your geographic area with DOE marketing, digital out of home marketing, so that your message can be put in places that would be relevant to an audience locally that would want to come to your hotel, be in your restaurant. Okay. You can do radio ads that audibly can be tailored to the thematic music of what radio stations they're on, tailored to the geographies that you want them to be tailored to for drive market interest or feeder market interest to drive to you, not driving physically, but be driven to you. Okay. You have the digital marketing component, which is visual awareness. You have short videos, long videos, story videos. Okay. You can have AI communication where you can have a call number where an AI bot identifying itself as an AI bot. Remember, we have the 3 rules of bots. Don't act like a human, never get in the way of a human, always make a human available. That can collaborate any of the messaging you're doing creatively. So you can have call-in, clicked calls where you're not dealing with hoping that the phone on the other end that goes to the front desk of your hotel or to your host station or to your back office station is just going to ring because the person's not there to answer it. And all that effort to run that campaign goes out the window because the phone doesn't get answered or get answers abruptly or gets put on hold too long or is impatient or whatever else that creates issues. An AI agent will talk your ear off. It'll continue to exhaust your time by answering every question you have about the meaning of the universe if that's what you want it to do. So you can have that outlet of opportunity there as well. In addition to creating your own printable media, you can create your own guidebooks. You can create your own dynamic guides for your users, tailored to what they want to do on the dates that they want to do. The platform Flip2 that we talk about all the time with Ed. They have in their booking sequence the show of what's going on in the area that you're at based on the dates that you're interested in. So you might see that there might be, if you're flexible, maybe you want to shift it or add in a couple extra days because there's something interesting that's going on that you might want to participate in. That awareness goes in. And we haven't even stepped into the world of generative AI results, where now you're collectively adding more ability to show up, particularly for somebody, as the specific thing that they're being told, compared to always having to be compared to a host of other places, by being better at identifying the value proposition that you are in. And this all comes from created exposure. Where before, if you think about the workflow, and that's literally what it's called, I have an ad, there's a call to action. Okay, the purpose of the ad is simply to make you push the button, or metaphorically, call to action. That call to action goes to a place that gives you a fuller content feel, which is the website content support to the ad campaigns that you run. We've had this conversation over the whole 11 years we've been doing the show. And that has in itself another call to action capability of it. Usually at that point, that's where the conversion request comes in, go to book, what have you, okay? And that's how we approach our marketing. Who do we put this process in front of? We take this workflow and this is what we put it into. So our message is very concise of making the action. You want to stay with us? Click here. We have the best deals. Click here. Here's our offer. Click here. We're in the area you're looking for. Click here. There's no creativity to that. That's function. We now have the ability to create communication that says, well, that is a really cool commercial or cool message. Publix example, birthday cakes for the holidays. I got a cousin that is always forever had their birthday on Christmas. And now I understand that must be frustrating. It'd be so cute to send them a cake like this or whatever it is. Okay. Now, when they go look for Publix, now there's the action of them. Here's the full explanation of what we're doing, so forth. Great, good deal. Call to action is still there. But the purpose of the message wasn't about just driving it to the call of action. The message was the call to action. And we could be so creative about that now. We can find so many ways, like I just talked about with the audio and the OTT and everything else like this. And now with generative, where you can create customized information. For instance, we have a tool that we've been working with it that as you go through and you explain what it is that you're going to do with your AI assistant, saying, well, I want to do this is great. Do you want me to send you a Google map of your walking tour that you're on? And this is one of the factors. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, but this is one of the things it does. Like, based on all the things we're doing, it's like I have the list of a few restaurants that are within a few minutes walking that are highly reputed in the area, so forth and so on. That you start the day, you go see this museum for a few hours and go to this, if this is what you're looking for. Do you want me to send you the link to the customized Google map? So it goes on my phone. So now I have a Google map of all the stuff I want to do with all the little icons telling me why it was important, what things not to miss, the thing you should order because this is what it's famous for, whatever it is that you need. if that's helpful for the user. The user may not want that. They might want something different. They might want the ability to go over and pre-book some things like at your restaurant and or at your spa or things like this as a part of the whole process of planning out your day. It's like, hey, you want to plan out your day? Great. I have the following appointments ready for the morning for the spa for these treatments. Would you want to go over and book one of those? Great. Do you want to get lunch there? Do you want to get lunch at the restaurant? I want to do lunch at the restaurant. Well, if you want to buy a $100 gift certificate, they'll give you one for $150 for buying the $100 one. Yeah, let's do that. This is all about the engagement level value of what those things do. That's the process that we have available to us. And we're not being creative about the messaging of these things. That's the value that we have right now. That's the ability to say that creativity shouldn't be a luxury of your strategy. It should be a consistent, integral component of your strategic planning. As you think of your ad campaigns, the workflows, the presence, like, okay, well, first quarter of 2026 rolling around, this is what we normally target towards, and this is what we're doing. This is what we made budgets for. Great. Take time to be creative with the messaging. We know what we're trying to get to. We know what the KPIs we'd like to maintain those goals towards. How can we be better at getting the messaging out? How can we identify ourselves better with this process? That's the part I'm saying is so critical to our discussion. That's why I made the topic today of creativity should not be a luxury of strategy. So with that, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're everywhere, 209 countries. We do simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. We are forever on our hospitality channel TV. If you have a smart TV of any type, but it's Apple TV, Amazon TV, Google TV, Roku, any of the smart TV, Samsungs, whatever, look for Hospitality Channel. We're there. The show's always on that. We do translate the show into 11 languages based on the audiences of the countries that participate, that watch the show. So sometimes we change them up. We've been persistent with obviously Spanish, German, Italian, French, Malay, Hindu, Japanese, Korean, missing one. Anyways, those are the larger, and we do always have people, even now, watch us live from amazing time zones, but we do have the recast, as I mentioned, 11:30 a.m. Sydney, Australian time, and London time for corresponding geographies. And of course, our radio show, hospitalityradio.com. We always recast the show on it, and also hospitalitychannel.tv has every one of our shows and podcasts based on data broadcast, host, and or topic. You know, search all that up. There's a linear show to that website, as also a on-demand link for that as well. If you are a hospitality marketer, want to join a peer level group, we have hospitalitymarketing.club. So go to the website, hospitalitymarketing.club. Put in your email and send you a quiz to validate that you are indeed a current hospitality marketer, at which point you are then introduced in, and then you choose the peer groups that you would like to be associated and communicate with and be engaged with. It's a lot of fun. It's not on Facebook or anything like that. It's a whole separate platform. And there you go. I think that's all we have. If you have the Hospitality Channel is an actual app. You can go on your Apple iOS or Google Play, look for Hospitality Channel. It is an app, and you'll always see the show. We always put additional content there, so forth and so on. You can catch that up. So with that, I hope that your holiday season is doing wonderful. I hope that you are having an enjoyable time, that life is good, and that you are happy and having fun, and that you laugh. And until next week, my name is Lauren Gray. I thank you for the privilege of your time, and I do look forward to talking to you next week. Bye, y'all.